real good feeling. Na, 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 na. This place is jumping off hard as it can get. No, we won't ever stop dancing on the edge. We like it dangerous, we like to see you spit. Turn up another notch, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let me tell you something, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, let me tell you something. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Got a real good feeling. Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. I got a real good feeling.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jab here, and in today's video, we are going to be going over what occurred yesterday at the B-Word conference. As you guys know, Kathy Wood, Elon Musk, and Jack Dorsey were in a call, and they came together to talk about a plethora of different things. Included amongst them were whether or not Elon Musk and Tesla would be moving forward with buying Bitcoin, and what the future of Bitcoin might mean for the rest of the civilized world. We're also going to be talking about the open interest on the CME futures market for Bitcoin, because it looks like we might be about to see a bit of some shorting price action coming into Bitcoin. We got a lot to talk about in today's stream. It's going to be a good one. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already. I am joined, as always, by my two lovely co-hosts. Definitely not high. Tim.
What?
I don't think that's never been the name.
That's your name now, though.
Why would I be definitely not high Tim now?
Because I misspoke. Kind of
Okay,
crypto
cheers.
Tim.
There we
and
go.
Smayatang. How you doing, Smay?
Hi,
How you doing,
everybody.
Tim?
Everybody. Hello.
Smay, Jillian, who, for everybody who doesn't know, which is probably most people watching this, Jillian is our graphic designer. The reason I say that is because she's not on camera. That sounded mean, but Jillian is awesome. And if she's watching this, shout out to Jillian. She's really cool. She does everything over on Instagram. Jillian did a little trading card of Smay and said that the unevolved form of Smay, like a Pokemon of Smay, is a Smaypanzi. Is that what it was, Smay? A Smaypanzi, guys. There we go.
There's a lot of lore behind the Smaytang up supposedly. So
There is. Yeah, it's growing every day. So, guys, we have a lot to cover in today's stream. Make sure to leave anything that you would like us to cover in the chat. We're going to try and be extremely engaged with chat today. That went well yesterday. You guys seem to really enjoy that. So make sure any questions you have, whether they're in the form of a super chat or not, that is okay. We're going to try and interact with chat as much as we possibly can. But we have a lot that we're going to be going over today. Tim, is there anything we need to talk about before I jump straight on in?
Well, I did see a comment from Jeff the Talking Mongoose who says that he is here for more turtle action.
do I give some turtle action real quick? You want me to give some turtle action?
I think we should have a turtle. We should have a turtle sighting at 500 likes, and then another turtle sighting with fun facts about the turtle at 1,000 likes.
I like this idea.
Do you want fun? Oh, hold on. I turned up my mic a little bit too much. You want a fun facts about? Do you think you guys really want? Because I could go on and on and on and on about.
Maybe like the top top fact about the turtles.
The top fact,
Like,
yeah. No.
Top fact
like,
about the turtles.
Not like 10 minutes of facts or anything.
Okay,
Yeah, because Smay will go on literally for hours. He is Coyote Peterson's son. Anyway, guys, we are
I'm
going to
better
go
than
ahead.
Coyote Peterson.
But you don't have the cool hat.
Exactly.
I mean, you have a cool hat, but you don't have that cool
That's what
hat.
makes me better than him.
Anywho, we're going to go ahead and jump into this, guys, because we want to talk about what happened at the B Word conference yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, which has been disabled by the host. May, can I share my screen?
Nice. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, nice, May.
Do it.
Smay, you
try
have been
again.
fired.
Try again.
Smay, I think this is like the 15th time that you're getting fired, but that's okay. Elon Musk says Tesla will most likely resume accepting Bitcoin. This is I hate to say it, but it's true, groundbreaking quote coming out of Elon Musk, because as you guys know, Elon Musk and his company Tesla began accepting Bitcoin earlier on this year. And then relatively soon thereafter, they decided, no, actually, we're not going to accept Bitcoin because too much of Bitcoin is mined with non-renewable resources. And I'm sure his PR department was having an aneurysm. So he decided to go ahead and revoke that ability. Tesla could resume accepting Bitcoin. Speaking at the B Word conference alongside ARK Invest CEO Kathy Wood and Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, Musk said the EV firm will most likely resume accepting the premier cryptocurrency for purchases. Musk said, it looks like Bitcoin is shifting a lot more towards renewables, and a bunch of the heavy-duty coal plants that were being used have been shut down, especially in China. Adding, he said, I want to do a little more due diligence to confirm that the percentage of renewable energy usage is most likely at or above 50%, and that there is a trend towards increasing that number. If so, Tesla will most likely resume accepting Bitcoin. You guys know that Tesla accepting Bitcoin is a big part of what drove the price appreciation of Bitcoin earlier on this year. And when Elon Musk and Tesla decided to stop accepting Bitcoin, it was one of the big things that caused a crash in Bitcoin. Now, we've talked about plenty of times on the channel how this is not a healthy thing for the market to be doing, which is us blindly following billionaires. But what it does mean is that we do see that there is a very large correlation between price and what Tesla is doing. So like it or not, what Tesla does in relation to Bitcoin is going to have a major impact on the price action. So we have been looking at this for a while. As you guys know, China shut down Bitcoin mining. Something like 95% of Bitcoin mining in China has now been moving overseas. A lot of it has been moving to America. We've seen statistics, which I don't have to show you in front of me, but we've seen statistics that 17% of global mining is now happening in America. A large portion of those miners are moving towards places like Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and North and South America. So we're seeing a lot of mining moving around the world, a lot of it coming to places like North America and the United States of America. So this is a very good thing for a couple of reasons. Number one, it brings decentralization to the Bitcoin network. Too much of the miners were in mainland China, and because of that, we did not have the same level of decentralization that we would have liked to. We didn't have I think depending on what source you looked at, we had somewhere around 45 to 50% of miners in China, and some sources put it as even high as 60%. It was hard to tell, but the point is it's very low now. The fact that that has been decentralized is an incredibly healthy thing for the market, and it also is probably one of the things, not probably, it's definitely one of the things is leading towards more green energy being used in Bitcoin. So we've been speculating for the last couple of weeks here on this channel that due in part to this news, or due in full to this news, that we should be expecting to see something like this coming from Elon Musk, and we now have. So this is a very good sign, because we do want to see Tesla adopting Bitcoin. While we don't want to idol worship and we don't want to billionaire worship and institution worship, we do also have to realize that whenever institutions are in cryptocurrency, it is naturally going to be a bullish thing for the price. Tim, do you have anything to add to that before I move on here?
Well, I mean, I think it's even cooler that what he was talking about was not only is Tesla, because he said Tesla's going to be, or he's expecting them to, but he did announce that SpaceX, I think that was something we all assumed SpaceX had Bitcoin, but he confirmed that SpaceX now is for sure invested in Bitcoin. I have more thoughts, Jeb. I know we talked about it before the show started. I think I'll talk about it a little bit later when we get more into the charts. So yeah.
Sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and move on to this next article. This is talking about 5 things that were shared at the B Word conference. You guys know that that was a big deal. And in fact, I am of the opinion that a large portion of the bullish price action that we've seen over the last 48 hours has been as a result of this conference. Kathy Wood, Elon Musk, and Jack Dorsey, these three individuals are incredibly wealthy. They're incredibly powerful. And them getting in the same room together with literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in cryptocurrency watching them, these very influential people talk about Bitcoin was a very big deal for the morale, but also for the evangelization of the cryptocurrency space. So these are 5 big takeaways as put together by coinape.com, coingape.com, excuse me. SpaceX, Tesla, and Elon Musk are currently holding Bitcoin. This is what Tim was talking about here. Elon Musk revealed during the B Word conference that both his companies, SpaceX and Tesla, are currently holding Bitcoin. This comment came as a surprise, many in lieu of Tesla's recent stance against Bitcoin when the company reversed its earlier announcement of accepting payments in the cryptocurrency. However, Musk did stand on his ground on his previous proof of work criticism against Bitcoin. I am a supporter of Bitcoin, but we need to watch out for crypto taking, especially Bitcoin, using proof of work to maybe use energy that's too much and not necessarily good for the environment. So there's several things that we can dive into here about that. I'm not going to go into all of it because we talk about it quite a bit. Number one, the thing that gives something value is its scarcity and its difficulty to obtain. So the fact that it takes a lot of electricity to generate and support Bitcoin is exactly the thing that gives Bitcoin value in the first place. So I don't think that's something that we should be terribly concerned about. Our traditional financial instruments and our fiat currencies take exorbitant amounts of power as it is and energy as it is. So it doesn't make a lot of sense from me, from my point of view, to criticize Bitcoin for that when everything does the exact same thing. You've heard that argument a million times, though. Moving on here, Elon Musk is holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Doge, but one of them is for entertainment. So this is another thing we heard out of this. Musk elaborated on his holdings of meme coins like Doge. He said that the Dogecoin community is irreverent. Be careful not to read that as irrelevant, like I did the first time and thought it was funny, and that they have hilarious memes. Musk shared he likes both dogs and memes. He specified that he likes how Doge does not take off too seriously. Musk himself does not seem to take Doge seriously and comes off as having invested in the coin for the fun of it. He said this, the most ironic and entertaining outcome would be cryptocurrency that started off as a joke to make fun of cryptocurrencies. Ends up being the leading cryptocurrency. Now, I don't know if he said this again during the B Word conference because he was quoted as saying this several months ago, much to the mixed reaction of the Dogecoin community, but nevertheless, that's what he said. Guys, before I move on to the rest of these points, I want to hear what chat thinks about this. What do you guys think Elon Musk moving back in the direction of supporting Bitcoin could mean for the cryptocurrency space? A lot of people were in the chat of the B Word conference saying like, hey, I wonder if we're about to witness the market move because of something that comes out of this man's mouth. After all, he's one of the richest people on the planet. Him simply saying something can have a major impact on the market. And while we're waiting for those chats to roll in, Tim and Smad, I'd love to hear what both of you guys think. What do you think this is going to do to the price of Bitcoin now that he's talking about Tesla moving back into the direction of buying Bitcoin or accepting Bitcoin?
Can you share your screen, please?
I can. My bad.
Boom. So the first thing I will say, back to what you said, Jeb, I do think the B Word conference affected that rally. However, when you look at the chart, and I can do it really quickly because I'm on the hourly chart. Let me go back here and share my screen real quickly. The conference started at 12 o'clock yesterday. So at 12 o'clock, we were sitting right here at 32,127. So literally this rally, all of this right here, yep, I'm going to go and draw it, was all in anticipation. Come on now, I hit the thing. There you go. This was all anticipation of the B Word conference. This is what has happened since the B Word conference has gone on. We have traded sideways. So, we didn't see a massive dip. We did see a sharp rally during the segment about 2 o'clock, on the 1400 is what it says, but that's around 2 o'clock. We did rally all the way as high as 32,800. However, I'll blow that up a little bit more. However, it quickly came right back down, as you can see. So, I'm going to stop sharing real quick. My opinion, Jeb, is that, I've seen it in chat here a lot, is that in all reality, the B Word conference was a little bit disappointing. There was whole lot of nonsense. Even Elon, I think the good thing to take away is that Elon said that, hey, Tesla's moving back in that direction. We are confirming SpaceX is there. I'm continuing to hold. That was the highlight and probably just about the only thing of mass importance that came out of that conference, because I didn't get to watch it, but I'm looking at it and I'm seeing comments not only on our channel but on other people's comments as well, other channels as well, is they're pretty much saying Elon was super vague about almost everything he talked about Jack Dorsey went on his spiel. I think it's in that article you were reading about how he thinks that Bitcoin could bring world peace.
Yeah,
a lot of people
are going to get to that.
That's pretty funny. I think it was a very overhyped and underdelivered conference overall.
Yeah, well, I would say I agree with you a lot. Like, I think overall, I think what we're seeing here is that the more Elon Musk says things that is affecting the price, each time it's now becoming less and less potent, right? So like now at this point, he's saying something again that could perceived as something that's a bullish price movement, but I think people are like, well, it doesn't really matter actually what he's saying. It doesn't really matter if Tesla accepts Bitcoin. I mean, that's big, but like it's not. I don't think there's enough excitement at the whim of what Elon Musk says at this point that people are going to go buy because of it. So I think it's just wearing off.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It has that almost the boy who cried wolf type of feeling to what is happening with Elon and crypto. Like I loved how you said every single time he talks, it seems like it's like less and less effective.
Yep.
And it's kind of, which in reality, I think that's what it needed to happen. I feel for, Elon that's happening to him. I overall, a lot of people dislike Elon as a person. I think the things that he is doing, not only for his own business and for the world, I think he's just, what he's going around is really, really cool. Really, he's going to accomplish a whole lot. But I am glad to see that one person's power over the market is dwindling, because you never want one person. I mean, even when it's positive, you never want one person to have that much sway, either positive or negative.
Yeah, and I think what Tim said there about the price and the anticipation was a very important thing for us to take away, is that a lot of times you will see people get very excited about things like these. You'll get people very excited about a celebrity endorsing Bitcoin, or about some announcement or some conference, and then it happens, and then it doesn't matter because it's just some opinion pieces. And yes, it can move the price if there's some kind of massive announcement, but nothing really came of this. It's interesting and it's in the news, and I'm going to tell you a couple of other things that came out of it, but for the most part, it was just three people sitting in a room talking. Just because they are worth a lot of money doesn't make them necessarily any smarter than the rest of us. It doesn't necessarily make them any more likely to move the market than the rest of them. So with that said, let's go ahead and read on here to the rest of these points. I'm going to breeze through these pretty quickly, but I do want to go ahead and cover them. Tesla is likely to be accepting Bitcoin in the foreseeable future. This is something we talked about a second ago, but I'll read the quote. It looks like Bitcoin is shifting more towards renewables. I've actually already read this, but I'll read it again since I started. There is a trend towards more than 50% renewables. In that case, Tesla would resume accepting Bitcoin most likely. Tesla's bank balances in Europe have a negative interest rate. You have to pay the bank to hold your money. This is insane. That's something I saw him say live. The bank balances in Europe are, not the bank balances, the interest rates in Europe are absolutely ridiculous because they are dealing with negative interest rates over there. It is an absolute joke. And anyone who understands how negative interest rates work, I don't have time to get into it in today's video, will understand why Bitcoin is so incredibly valuable. Now, this is one of the most interesting things that I think was said out of the B Word conference. And it's not really on point for the stream, so we're not going to spend too much time on this, but I think it is interesting. Jack Dorsey said, I hope that Bitcoin creates world peace. So the host of the B Word conference asked the final question, what is the major impact that you think Bitcoin will have on the world? Something to that effect. I forget the exact wording. And when it got to Dorsey, he said that he hopes that it creates world peace. Tim and Smay, in under a minute, I would love to hear what you think about that. Let's start with Tim.
I'm of the opinion that I don't think something like this could bring about world peace. I think there's a lot of things that go into why we don't have world peace. While monetary issues are probably a leg of the chair, I don't think that fixing that leg will fix the whole problem. I also like how people said in chat, it's like, was he trying out for Miss America or something? I think even, I don't know if it was that article or a different article that was saying it very much had the miscongeniality type of feel to it. But that's my thought. I think it was him really trying to be moving and maybe even emotional to even drive the emotional price of Bitcoin. But I ultimately think it was inconsequential.
Yeah. What do you think, Smay?
Like same thing as Tim. Like genuinely, I think there's a lot more wrong with the world right now than our financial systems. But I will say this: there, maybe not world peace, but I think it could be huge for helping bring a lot of countries that typically wouldn't transact with each other to a point where they're transacting with each other. I was talking with a friend yesterday about this and talking about how if we return to a point that everyone's currency is backed by the same thing like it used to be with gold, we could, especially a digital currency, so there's not as much hassle exchanging it, right? We could definitely see a lot more countries have more access to more things, more technology. Like I think one of the things that we found is places like companies like Apple and big tech companies right now, they will screw over other countries that have a different exchange rate and make them end up having to pay more
Yep.
overall for goods. But if everything costs the same, then they're gonna have easier access to a lot of that stuff too. So yeah, that's why I think it's just gonna bring about more integration. Like more of the world is gonna be integrated together. But I don't think it's gonna bring peace. I think if anything, that might just open the door for more problems.
Yeah, I think the thing to, I was watching, and by the way, guys, even before I say this, if you're enjoying today's stream, smash that like button and drop a +1 in chat if you are enjoying the content here. Make sure to leave any questions that you guys have in chat, and we will read those ASAP. We're going to do some interaction here with chat here in just a second, but I was watching a video a couple of days ago on great power conflicts. So a great power is a nation that has influence around the world. If that country or that nation is starting to do something, then the rest of the world is going to feel the impacts of it. So America is a great power nowadays. China is a great power. Russia and the USSR was a great power at one point. There was a chart that I saw of great power conflicts over the past 600 years. And during I think it was the 14th, 15th, and 16th century, there was a 95% chance every single year that there was a great power war going on, that there was a conflict between a great power going on. Normally, these great powers at the time were in Europe. Warfare was incredibly commonplace before we went off the gold standard. Back during the time where we had stable currency that was built on things like gold and silver, war was actually far more common than it has been in the last 200 years. So I want to clarify something that we talk about with cryptocurrency. The fact that we've been able to debase our currencies and print money into oblivion is not necessarily creating more war. It's creating much more powerful war. So I don't think that if we go back to having a stable foundation for our currency like we did up until roughly 150, 200 years ago, that we're going to see less war. In fact, we might see more war. The point is that we'll probably see smaller war because the amount of money that is in the coffers of the national governments of the world will be a lot less because they can't inflate the currency to raise capital for wars like that. So I don't necessarily agree that we're going to see less war. In fact, I don't know if it's going to have any impact, unfortunately, because we are human. What I do know is that if we base our economies and base our currencies off of solid monetary policy and real economics, the world is going to be a better place in general because more of the power will be put back into our hands, the people who have good motives, because we all have our own motives, than else. We also have a donation here from Rennie Rivera, donated $20. He said, I love my brothers in Christ being so involved in this space. Starbucks on me, guys. I might take you up on that. I would love some coffee, even though I have some coffee right here. Yeah. Check out this Yellowstone mug. Boom. Tim, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, so I've been paying a lot of attention to chat. I think there's a large majority of people who are kind of, so I want to give a little bit of credit to people who are looking at it from a different angle. I think a lot of us who have been in Bitcoin for a while are looking at this and saying, hey, there was nothing new, it was nothing special. However, I'm interacting with Chaz and chat. I've seen a couple other people comment in. The one thing that potentially we will see come from this is there were lots of people who have nothing to do with Bitcoin who were able to see this. They did get to hear the opinions. They did get to have their mind changed. So maybe to those of us who are already in Bitcoin, this didn't affect us whatsoever. They pretty much reiterated things we already knew, didn't say anything special. But to someone who isn't in Bitcoin, maybe that was big. And so I will, as we, kind of finish talking about the B word conference, I will say, I really do hope that this brings adoption to millions of people. I do think, not just for my portfolio, but for Jack Dorsey's hope of world peace, I do think that Bitcoin is going to be, whether it solves complete world peace or whether it just maybe gives us a step towards that direction. I think it is something the world needs. Solid, hard money is needed. So I'm in agreement that I hope that this does bring lots of adoption. It just wasn't necessarily ground shaking as I think some people were hoping it would be.
Well, I think that's why I was about to say that actually right when you said that, because my thought is like I'm glad and I love what the super chat just says. So I'm gonna read that here in a second. But I really think that uh, Bitcoin is bigger than its short term price movements, guys.
Yes.
So I think that that's the I'm actually glad we didn't see a giant pump, right? Because like even what he just said, and I'm gonna read the super chat. Rory, I'm sorry I cannot pronounce your last
Bjorkman?
name, but I'm gonna say Rory. He says, "Hey guys, I
Bjorkman.
was glad the B word didn't have a huge impact on coins. The last thing we need is a currency that freaks out every time some dude
It's true.
tweets,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that
And we're
is
at.
even pump or not. I mean,
Mhm.
unless you're in cryptocurrency
Mhm.
just to make a short-term gain, it
Mhm.
really depends on why you're into it. But if you're into it for the reason that you really should be into it, is that you believe in its fundamental reasons to how it can solve a lot of issues
Mhm.
financially
Yeah.
for a lot of countries, then this is a drop in the pan. This is like, okay, well, if anything, we're excited about this conference, not because it was supposed to pump the price, but we're excited about this conference because it's going to open the door for more people who aren't aware of Bitcoin or don't trust Bitcoin to maybe inch a little bit closer to trusting it and potentially adopting it. So that's why I think this is a big deal, but not for the reasons that we're going to see a pump from it.
Absolutely, guys. With that said, we're going to go ahead and move on here. I have an article here from El Salvador, not from El Salvador, but talking about El Salvador that I think is going to be very
Yeah.
relevant to what what Smay just said and what that super chat just said, because unfortunately, there is not as much goodwill towards Bitcoin in El Salvador that we might have hoped. Now, ever since we had the news break that El Salvador was moving in the direction of adopting Bitcoin, I've praised their president, but I've also said, look, guys, I am not from El Salvador. I do not speak for El Salvador. El Salvador is more than welcome to do whatever it wants. I don't want to step on any toes. It's not my country. So I'm just an outsider looking in. And it seems, now I don't know how much of El Salvador is for or against it, but it seems like there are some people concerned about adopting Bitcoin in El Salvador, and they are protesting it. And frankly, I kind of expected this to happen because this is a major step in the history of this nation, one that is completely unprecedented in the history of humankind. El Salvador Bitcoin law has citizens protesting. The quick adoption of an El Salvadoran law declaring Bitcoin as legal tender has been poorly received by the country's citizens. This is something I was concerned about. Despite a 3-month ban on protest to ostensibly prevent the spread of what I can't say on YouTube, even though I have it, a group of Salvadorans composed of leftist unions, student associations, and others gathered at the Legislative Assembly yesterday to protest the country's adoption of Bitcoin as its national currency. The group, popularized by the Bloc of Resistance and Popular Rebellion, used banners and slogans to demand that so-called Bitcoin law, which makes Bitcoin legal tender and obligates businesses to accept it, be revoked. But the protesters, like an estimate of 77% of El Salvadorans, think that that's a bad idea. Now, I don't have time to go into all of this, but there's been a lot of polling done. A lot of people in El Salvador seem to not be very excited about this. And, I can't really blame them, and I can't actually be surprised. And as a crypto YouTuber, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, what did Jeb just say? He said that you can't blame them for not wanting to accept Bitcoin. Look, guys, the point they're making is that Bitcoin lost half its value in 3 months. They're right. The volatility there is scary. But so we need to keep that in mind. El Salvador, we want El Salvador and Paraguay and Panama and all these other nations that are talking about moving in the direction of Bitcoin, whether they're using Bitcoin or not. Our heart for those nations is for those nations to be as successful and prosperous as possible. So I don't want to discount at all the concerns that the El Salvadorans have. For any El Salvadorans that might be watching this, maybe I can say that even though Bitcoin is incredibly volatile, hopefully in the long run, it will still do better than the US dollar. And hopefully in the long run, it'll still be able to combat inflation in a way that the US dollar is incapable of. So I don't want to step on any toes. I'm really just kind of reporting the news here. I'm not going to jump into El Salvadoran politics because it's not my place as someone who's not from El Salvador. But I did want to bring that to everyone's attention. Smay and Tim, do you guys have any thoughts on that, on what's going on in El Salvador? Anything that we can say to the El Salvadorans to make them feel better, maybe?
So the first thing is, and I think it's too early to know it's for certain, although I know that a lot of the people in the chat probably feel this way. The question is this simply another FUD article to scare people?
Yeah.
We had the first country who is adopting Bitcoin. We knew that they're going to be, we knew there's going to be haters. We know in the past, and we don't need to get into it at all, but we know in the past that people have been so powerful to go as far as to pay protesters to go just cause a scene so that they can move their mark. So, while I'm not 100% certain exactly what is going on here because I'm not in El Salvador, we're just reading an article. It wouldn't be against common sense to believe that there is something behind this, and this might be more FUD than it is actual fact.
But I mean, yeah, and one thing that I'm gonna say is like I think this is also an example of why we want to move away as as a investing. I don't even know how to say this, but I think that's why we don't want to see these huge pumps and these huge dips and this much volatility, right? Like, I think when we get to a point where we're trading pretty consistently, right? Because this is for the sake of the people that are adopting it as a currency, right? Like, I think especially El Salvador is going to would get hit really hard now that we've seen this huge dump, right? So
I think the good news is for El Salvador is that the time that we're looking at them adopting Bitcoin is probably going to be right around the bottom for Bitcoin. So if a lot of El Salvadorans start moving in the direction of Bitcoin, it's very possible that just around the time that they're doing that, they're getting in on the bottom just by chance, and it could end up being a very good thing for them. With that said, Bob donated $100 again. Bob, you, my friend, are very kind. You've donated like $400. I don't get it. Thank you so much. Sorry I'm late. Good morning, gentlemen, and to the rest of you Jedi Knights. Hit those likes and crush those super chats. I can get behind that. Smash the like button and crush those super chats. We very much appreciate everybody who did.
We had another one from Philip Yulee saying, guys, I watch and trust you every day, but it seems you are relying on news and comments regarding the conference. For example, Elon explained why Tesla stopped accepting Bitcoin, and it made a lot of sense. So again, that's why I did want to give, like I said a little bit ago, credit to some of the things those guys were saying. I will go back and watch it to make sure it wasn't anything that we didn't already know. I thought that Elon had already confirmed why he had gotten out of it, and it was because of the green energy ip. So if there's something that he added in that, I will make sure to go back and look. And if that's the case tomorrow, I will tell you guys that I am sorry and that we will go back on what we said. But that, you're absolutely right. And I think I saw a comment earlier pretty much echoing that, saying, hey guys, make sure you don't just listen to YouTubers. You go and do some of this research for yourself, which is 130% true. That this is a great place to have a community discuss this. Obviously, you guys do trust us and we appreciate your trust. That does not make us perfect. That does not make us infallible. We definitely sometimes get things wrong, but the good thing is, and I think you have been around here for a while, you guys know when we get things wrong, we come back and tell you, hey guys, by the way, we were wrong about that. We're not going to hide from the truth. We're not going to just try to protect our butts to save face. Philip, thank you so much for that super chat, that comment. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, we're going to move into our final article here, and then we're going to jump into some Bitcoin technical analysis. We're going to do a bit of technical analysis before we wrap it out. But the first thing I want to go into is this. Let me share my screen here. We have some interesting news coming out about Bitcoin futures over on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Bitcoin futures positions at 2-month high as traders go short. Now, before you cry, Jeb, you're trying to spread FUD. Let's just read it, because this might not be as bad as you think. A combination of falling price and rising open interest is said to signal bearish conviction on the part of Bitcoin futures traders. The number of open positions in Bitcoin futures traded on major exchanges, including Binance and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, continues to rise. And what appears to be a proliferation of short sellers indicates a dour, I think that's supposed to say sour, market mood that may bring volatility on the higher side. Open interest, or the number of futures contracts traded but not squared off with an offsetting position, rose to 397,873.36 Bitcoin on Tuesday. I almost said and 36 cents, but that's the wrong currency, reaching the highest tally since May the 18th, according to data from blockchain analytics firm Glassnode. The dollar value of the number of contracts open remained flat at around $12 billion. So we have our graph here from Glassnode, and you can see that the amount of open interest on exchange has moonshot over the last several months, and we have seen it rally from down here around 300 up to where it sits now, just under 400. So what we need to do with this data here is, even before we read on, because there's a lot of opinions in this article, and I'm going to make sure to point out what is fact and what is opinion, because there's a lot of opinions about what all of this means, but let's simply look at the facts. So this is the fact right here. This is the amount of open interest across all exchanges for Bitcoin futures and other Bitcoin derivatives. We are seeing a major amount of it right here. So take a look at the last time we saw a large uptick in open interest on Bitcoin. We saw it happen right here in between May and June. We saw a major correction during that time. We also saw the same thing happen here in late April. We saw a major correction during that time. We also saw that there was a large uptick in open interest right over here in late February and early March. Then there was a correction. We saw that there was a ton of open interest over here back before the bull market really started to go into full swing. What I want to point out here is that there's about to be a lot of opinions in this article that the vast majority of this open interest is people trying to short the market. There is an argument to be made with that having to do with the funding rate, which is the amount of money going in and out versus longs and shorts. Right now, it's very hard to tell whether this is a bullish or a bearish thing. What we do know is that there is a lot of volume going on the futures market. What we do know is that there is a lot of interest in trading Bitcoin on the futures market. And in general, that is probably indicative of a healthy amount of interest in the space. Notice we have more open interest and a faster rally in open interest over the last 3 months than we have seen throughout this graph that shows the last 8 months of history on open interest for futures contracts. That's indicative that there's a lot of money coming into the space, whether it be longing or shorting. There's a lot of valuation coming into these markets. So that is actually in and of itself a very healthy thing. This is basically another way of looking at a volume graph. We're seeing a lot of volume right here. It's not the exact same thing as volume. It's the amount of money that is tied up in a futures contract. So it's slightly different, but you can look at it somewhat similarly. And the other thing I want to point out is that every time we see a big spike here, yeah, we see a dump, but oftentimes it's not very long. Notice we saw a rally right here, but we were already pretty much through this crash when this open interest rallied. Right here, we were pretty much through, excuse me, we weren't pretty much through, but we did not see a very major crash right here when we saw open interest rally. And also over here, for example, we saw open interest rally and then we saw a big rally. Over here, we saw open interest rally and yeah, we saw a small correction, which we needed, but then we went into a rally. Over here, large amounts of open interest, we went into a rally. Over here, we had a ton of open interest and it led to the beginning of this bull market. So the reason I go into detail on that is because, like I said, this article is about to talk about how this is probably a lot of short positions and how this might be very bearish. It might be, it's true, but it's something that we want to take with a grain of salt. When measured in kind, the metric has risen by more than 100,000 Bitcoin since late May. According to experts, the uptick in open interest indicates traders that have been opening short or sell positions amid flat to negative price action in the cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has mainly traded in the $30,000 to $40,000 region in the past 2 months, barring a couple of short-lived dips to 29. In my opinion, it's mostly short futures, given the persistent negative funding rate in perpetual markets over the past few weeks, as well as futures markets trading in backwardation. Shiliang Tang, chief investment officer of Ledger Prime, a $130 million crypto hedge firm, told CoinDesk. And he's right. If you look at the funding rate down here, the funding rate is absolutely negative. And the reason that it's negative is because we are in a correction. It makes sense that we are. The question is, where does that reverse? Where does that funding rate reverse? You guys know that I have a price target for Bitcoin, probably in the, not probably, somewhere in the top 20s region, around 20, maybe 26, 24, 25, 26,000. That's where I think Bitcoin is going. What I think is going to happen here is that a lot of this open interest is going to end up playing into that small correction down into those mid 20s. And then a lot of this open interest is going to flip and a lot of it's going to turn bullish and turn into longs when people start looking for those buying opportunities down there. So guys, I'm not going to go into anything else in this article. We pretty much covered all of it. Here is a good example of the spot price and everything turning negative, flipping into, let me just read this. The 3-month, a positive funding rate means longs are paying shorts to keep the position opens and the market is skewed bullish. Meanwhile, a negative funding rate implies a bearish market position. The 3-month basis, or the difference between the price of the 3-month futures and the spot price, recently turned negative, flipping on the so-called backwardation, a sign of bearish sentiment among futures traders. Essentially, what we're seeing here is that the sentiment in the futures market is shifting further towards bearishness. That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is that we are completing our transition back to neutrality. The market rallied way too quickly. We've talked about that many times here on the channel. Bitcoin rallied way too quickly in between August of last year and April 15th, tax day of this year. We rallied far too quickly. We didn't have any corrections. We needed to have those resets. So the fact that we're seeing resets in everything, including the futures market and including the open interest, is a very healthy thing because it indicates that the market is returning back to its equilibrium where hopefully we can start a new rally from. I don't think that the correction is over. I've made that very clear, but I do think that we are closer than we were a few months ago, obviously, and I think that we might be around the corner from that bottom. We're going to talk about that more here in a minute when we jump into Bitcoin technical analysis. But Tim, I want to hear your take on this. Where do you think that Bitcoin is heading over the next couple of months? Does this news of the open interest potentially being very negative change any of your opinions on where you think Bitcoin is going?
Well, I'll start off by saying I've never been a fan of the futures options in Bitcoin. I don't like that that's here. I don't like that people take advantage of it. It seems like a really sloppy, and I guess it'd be good to get people into Bitcoin just to be used to it without having necessarily way too much exposure to it. But I just don't think that that's what is good for Bitcoin long term. That's just my opinion. As far as where I think the price is going, this is something we've talked about for a long time. I'm not as good. I always love when people do long-term price predictions. And I really would love to know where they're getting the numbers. I know I was watching one guy give one, he's talking about the math of things, but in all reality, when long-term price predictions are given, it is speculation. It is educated feelings, I guess, is the best way to really describe how people do their long-term price predictions. However, I do think that there is, with everything happening with the fundamentals of Bitcoin. I saw someone asked in chat earlier, they're like, oh, am I a bad guy for not really caring about the fundamentals? I wouldn't say you're a bad guy for not caring about the fundamentals. I would say that you're making a mistake if you don't care about the fundamentals, because technical analysis, as great as it is, does not move the price. The fundamentals are what makes us move the price. The adoption of it is what makes us move the price.
I don't know if I agree with that, Tim.
You don't think the fundamentals and the news and the adoption of it is what moves the price?
No, they absolutely do. But you said I don't think the technicals move the price, and they do.
Well, what I'm saying is that just because you can read a chart doesn't mean that the price goes up or down. If all you do is pay attention to the chart, that doesn't make Bitcoin's price go up or down. What you paying attention to it doesn't make the price move, but the chart definitely has impacts on the price. Either way, the fundamental analysis is a massively needed part to knowing what's going to happen to the price, is what I'm ultimately getting at.
Yes.
And if you look at the fundamentals, this is the reason why we do not believe, or at least, I don't want to speak for anybody else. I do not believe that we are in a bear market. And it's because of the fundamentals we are seeing. Something I was talking with Jeb earlier today about, and we might discuss it again here in a second when we do some technical analysis, is, man, we have seen everything that the institutions have asked for Bitcoin, for them to adopt Bitcoin and go and buy in. So, I think the last piece of the puzzle is, I think that institutions have picked a price on the chart. They said, when it hits this price, we are going to buy. And I think when that happens, I think an easy argument on technical analysis could be like, 'cause I've seen people say, based off of technical analysis, we could see us going all the way back down to $10,000, $8,000 in Bitcoin. However, the fundamentals and the what we see in the news and what we see in adoption does not support that sentiment whatsoever. I do believe by the end of this year, I'm not quite sure what the date of it is, but I do believe by the end of this year, we will start rallying back towards an all-time high, start to push that 100,000. I don't know if I have an exact number for the end of this year or the end of this bull cycle, but I think it's going to be, I don't think 64 was the top of this bull cycle.
I agree. I totally agree with that. With that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and read some of these super chats. We're going to blaze through them with all respect.
I recorded a couple of them, so if you miss any, I got you.
I think the first one in the list after Bob's was Matt C.
Yes.
Okay. So Matt C said, I think what's important about the B word is you have three leaders of massive institutions basically stating Bitcoin is a big part of their long-term business plans. Look for this to be the trend in big business. Totally agree with you, Matt C. That's a very good point. Kathy Wood is the CEO of ARK Invest. They have $50 billion in assets under management. They're not by any stretch the largest fund manager in the world. I think BlackRock is with like $7 trillion. The point is, ARK Invest is a very wealthy company, and Kathy Wood is a very wealthy woman. Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk, you guys know who they are. You're absolutely right, Matt C. And these three individuals have a lot of friends who who are very powerful. It's been a transition over the last 12 months. We've seen a lot of institutions having no idea what Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is to all of a sudden all of their friends are talking about it. And one of the things that we've seen happen recently is we've seen a lot of whales starting to hold a lot more Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Now, we don't know if those whales are individuals or corporations necessarily, but we do know that whales are gobbling up Bitcoin at an unprecedented rate. We are more than likely seeing a lot of the institutions being those whale wallets gobbling up Bitcoin. And the reason that they're probably doing that is because the price is low. Are they going to buy in more when it goes lower? Yes, but we're already seeing them start to buy in. And because they're doing that, they have a vested interest in cryptocurrency. They want to see Bitcoin and cryptocurrency do well because they now are holding it. Elon Musk being a good example. We're talking about all the time about how they are manipulating the market, how there's different things going on in the market, trying to move the market in certain ways. This is a good example of putting their interest and our interest in alignment. The institutions that are now holding Bitcoin and us who are holding Bitcoin both want to see it go up. So we both have a vested interest in doing whatever we can to make it go up. We as retail don't have much power to move the market. The whales and the institutions, though, they most certainly do. So watch out when they have the same interest as you, because you then have a very powerful ally. Someone said Bob stole mom's credit card. That's mean. I'm sure Bob is a very successful trader, and we are very thankful for him. He donated another 20 bucks. He didn't even leave a message. Thank you so much, Bob. Appreciate you. All right. We have, I think I'm missing, Hussein, I think is the next one.
Yeah, we have, yeah. And the other thing is, while you're reading that super chat, I don't know if Smith, you already grabbed him. He's sitting there. The turtle time. Go grab the turtle.
It's turtle time.
It's
turtle time.
Right, well,
Let's go.
Keep reading super chats. I'll grab the turtle.
All right. It is turtle time, guys. Drop a +1 turtle time in chat. Hussein donated $5, said, guys, take a look at Alliance Block. A newer cryptocurrency, has great backers and great project, to see if you can give us an opinion on the next episode. Please. We can do that. Tim, can you write that down? Alliance Block.
Alliance Block, yeah. I mean, I have the super chat saved, so what I can do is just highlight it and say we're going to go back and.
Awesome. We will do that. We will do that, my friend. I don't know if we'll talk about it in the next episode, but we'll definitely look into it. And if there's anything interesting there, then we will bring it to your attention. Everybody's talking about turtle power in chat. Looks like we got one more from Matt C. He said, I won't be here tomorrow. What? Matt, we can't. We're going to run out of money. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
I guess we got Bob now, but I don't know how we're going to fund this thing if you're not here. So I just wanted to wish you all well, Jeb, and the rest of you have a great weekend. I love this space. See y'all on Monday. Let's go, Matt C. You were awesome, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you on Monday. We should be back in office next Wednesday, by the way. My quarantine is over on Tuesday, so long as I'm feeling better. I feel halfway decent now, but nevertheless, we should have turtle time starting here in just a second. This is ridiculous.
I say he put his camera down for the great reveal. You know?
Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying today's stream, make sure to smash that like button. If we get to 1,000 likes, you're going to get a fun fact about turtles from Smay himself. So make sure to smash that like button.
All right, you guys ready?
Is it time for turtles?
I have turtle. This here is Steven Spielberg. He is a young turtle. I've had him for about, I've had him about 2 years now. 2 years. I got him when he was like this big. So now, look at that. Yeah.
What kind of turtle is that?
This is well, the name is funny. You ready? This is a Florida-specific turtle. It's called a peninsular cooter.
A peninsular cooter.
That's exactly what it's called. Yep.
I used to have two turtles.
You know what? I do want to give one fun fact. I want to give some. So just so you guys know.
Hey, we're not at 1,000 likes.
This one's. I'm gonna give a better fun fact at 1,000 likes. All right, but this one's a quick one. So you see this right here?
Oh gosh.
This part of the shell actually. Two things actually. That actually is their spine, right? So turtles can't actually get out of their shell. That's their spine, right? So that's one. And two, the top part of the shell is called a carapace. That's the scientific word for it. It's called a carapace. And Jeb, do you think you can tell us what the bottom is? What's the bottom of the shell?
It's his belly.
No, it's called a plastron.
Well, you went with a simple answer there.
And this is a young turtle.
I actually did know that. I knew that it was called a plastron.
This is a young turtle. So you see these white streaks here. You see how they're very wide? These white streaks. That's actually his new growth. So these plates are the ones he had when he was young, and they're obviously they're called scoots, are a little bit bigger. But that is all new growth, which means he's getting to be a big boy. And these turtles can get. So you see how big this turtle is? This turtle can get about that big.
Well,
So-
maybe at 1,000 likes, we can learn more about Smay's
I was gonna
plastron.
say- I
Moving
was gonna
on, we're
say-
going to talk
Yeah,
about some
I'm gonna
technical
put him back
analysis.
now, so you guys continue to talk about cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
That's great. Guys, we're going to go ahead and do some Bitcoin TA, but should we answer Bob's super chat first, Tim? What do you think?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do it. Bob donated another $20. He said, I've made a ton of money on crypto, been in Bitcoin since 2013, and I appreciate your dedication to integrity and Christ. I am screen sharing, sorry. To integrity and Christ. Keep up the good work, guys. By the way, give those turtles the 4th video window tomorrow. Heck yeah, that's a good idea. We should totally do that. We'll have to tell Smay to do that. Thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate it. And shout out to you for being in crypto since 2013. That is insane. That's awesome, man. Let's go ahead and jump on to Bitcoin, and we will talk about what has been going on recently. As you guys know, Bitcoin had a major rally yesterday in anticipation of the B-Word conference. We rallied from where we were down around $29,500 and change up to where we are now around $32,000. Is one of the larger rallies that we've seen recently. And in doing so, we have now put ourselves right below a downtrending level of resistance that we discussed here on this channel just yesterday. We talked about how this downtrend, this drawing I put here yesterday, by the way, I did not put this here this morning. I put this here yesterday. Bitcoin rallied up and touched it. I drew this downtrend right here. Bitcoin has almost perfectly tested it 4 times now. We find that Bitcoin is in a bull pennant. A bull pennant is constituted by a triangle pattern such as this, a rally or a downtrend moving into it, and then eventually you're going to see a breakout in one direction. We are more than likely in this case going to see a breakout to the upside, actually. I don't think it's going to last, but we will see. We have this resistance right here, this uptrending level of support right here. We're trading sideways. We rallied bullish into it. We're probably going to rally bullish out of it. Let me show you why. If we look at the Lux Algo indicator here, we talked about yesterday how it was very bullish and how it called this rally. Notice this buy signal right here. I was a little bit skeptical of getting in yesterday. I think we were trading around 31,700. There wasn't much bullishness to go here. Now that we have seen some sideways consolidation, I'm much more comfortable saying that, yeah, this might be a good time to enter a long position. But with that said, I will be very careful saying that because I don't think that a breakout here will last very long. I think that we would not see it go above 32.5, maybe even all the way up to $33,000, but there is potentially bullishness, bullish price action here. If you guys didn't notice, there was a buy signal here on Lux Algo on the hourly chart. Yesterday, very, very good time to buy in. Anyone who bought in there was definitely very glad that they did. We can also see on the 4-hourly chart that we saw a buy signal that showed up just a little bit later. Definitely want to make sure you're checking all of your time frames on Lux Algo. And then we can also look out to the daily chart and we'll see that we're still in a bearish signal. We've not seen a bullish signal. We've not seen anything bullish really happen out on the daily chart, except for the fact that we are now seeing a bullish MACD cross. So I guess I should say that there is one bullish thing going on. It's that bullish MACD cross. The question on the table right now is, will we be able to maintain this uptrend, break through the 20 daily exponential moving average, which we rejected off of yesterday? Notice this wick right here. We tried to get through this and we failed. Will we be able to break through that, use this bullish engulfing candlestick and the bullish MACD cross and continue this uptrend and reverse this and start going to the upside in a big way, or not? What are we going to be able to do here? Because right now, Bitcoin desperately needs to start breaking resistance if it wants to go into an uptrend, or frankly, it's just going to keep going down. We have seen Bitcoin test $31,000 8 or 9 times now. We saw it happen back over here on the 19th of May. We saw it happen here on the 23rd of May. We saw it happen on the 8th of June, the 22nd of June, the 26th of June. We saw it happen on the 16th of July. And then again yesterday. There's a ton of tests here on this level. At the same time, we're seeing downtrending tops. We're in a descending triangle pattern. That descending triangle pattern is almost certainly going to push us to the downside. Will we be able to use the slight momentum that we have right now to the upside and start breaching resistance and move to the upside in a big way? I personally don't think so. There might be a little bit of bullishness left, but the reason I say it's going to be hard for Bitcoin to go above $32,500, even all the way up to 33,000, is because 32.5K is major resistance right now. It's constituted by just a ton of levels in the last couple of months, and we're also below the 20 daily EMA. I think it's going to be very difficult for Bitcoin to break through that, even with this triangle pattern, this pennant that we're seeing, this bull pennant right here. I think it's going to be very difficult for that to take place. So I am personally not very bullish on Bitcoin at the moment, other than a potential $500 to $1,000 move to the upside. Frankly, guys, I think that we're going to continue moving to the downside in this in this trading channel, this wedge, excuse me, that we've been in for the last several months. I think it's going to start pushing us down below 30,000. I think it's going to be hard for us to hold it. That's my personal opinion. You guys know I'm very bullish on the long term, but I would be surprised to see Bitcoin manage to stay above that for the long run.
Yeah, no, I mean, even like looking at your screen right there, you have Jeb. Are you still up? No, you went down. Yeah, show it again real quick, just so I can show. I mean,
wait. Before you say anything, I want to say something to the audience.
What do you want to say?
If you're watching this stream right now, like the stream. It's the least
like
you
the
can
stream.
do. The least you can do. I just pulled out my turtle, guys. I just did it for you guys. It's because I love you.
He gave you turtle facts, guys. Come on, that's worth a like.
Please like the stream. And
like
if you get to 1,000 likes, I'm going to give you one of the most important turtle facts you'll ever hear. So.
I want to hear this.
Well, you got to hit 1,000 likes.
Make sure you hit 1,000 likes. Jeb, did you hit the like button already?
Yes, of course.
Smay, did you hit the like button already?
Yes, I hit the like button.
Well, sometimes Smay doesn't hit the like button.
I hit the like button.
Okay, good. All right, Jeb, go back to the screen real quick, and then kind of move us more to the center of the screen so I can, really look at this. Like when you look at that level of resistance, where that meets that descending wedge resistance, that's right there, that 32,500, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
I think. Oh yeah, you just moved it. I think that what's going to happen is we're going to move sideways as we currently are, because I know you're right now on the daily chart. If you go to the 4-hourly or the hourly chart, we're moving sideways, and I think we're going to bump our head potentially right there in that corner piece where you see the flat level resistance cross the descending level of resistance, and that's where we're going to come back down. I think we have a little bit more to do. Again, this is something Jeb and I were talking about this morning before the stream even happened, is that, man, like we have done everything that the institutions have asked us to do for them to get in, and they're not in yet, because I think the last piece of the puzzle is they have a price in their mind, and they say, when it hits this number, we've seen this happen over and over and over again. This is something that traders do. And these institutions have hired experienced, intelligent traders. They choose a number, they enter their buy order, and they're waiting. And we have not hit that number yet. So, Jeb and I were talking about it. It's something that we need to just go ahead and see. Like, some people fear dropping down below the $29,000 level, because I've seen reports where, like, oh, if we drop below 29,000, Bitcoin's going to be doomed. It's like, no, do we maybe need to drop below 29,000 and maybe hit that 27, maybe 26, maybe 25, or even lower, to get those buy orders in, to go ahead and exhaust the bears and allow the bull rally to continue and bull cycle to continue, and go back to what we were saying earlier about hitting new all-time highs, pushing that $100,000 price.
Yep. No, absolutely. And I think that's something else we talked about off camera was, as traders, we really have two fights that we can be fighting. We can be fighting to make money, or we can be fighting the institutions. One of those fights is hard enough. Trying to make money in cryptocurrency is not easy. That's why we help you guys and come on camera every single day and hopefully help you guys and show you things like Lux Algo, which we have affiliate links for. And we show you the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. If you're interested in learning about technical analysis, we have links for that too. That's why we come on here every single day, to help you with that hard fight. The harder fight is trying to fight the institutions. I used the analogy earlier that the whale decides where we go. We are the sucker fish that feed off of the scraps that the whale doesn't want. We don't have the power to change the direction the whale is going. The best thing that we can do is make the most out of where the whale is going. So we want to keep that in mind and not try and change what the markets are doing, but we want to make sure that we're taking advantage of what they are doing. There's a big difference there. And some people like to get very revolutionary and think like, oh, we're going to fight the whales, we're going to fight the institutions. Go for it, but good luck. You only have so much power, and you want to make sure that you're using as much of that power as you can to increase your own profitability. And that's what we're here for. We are here because we want to create a community that is going to help you become as successful as you possibly can in the cryptocurrency space. With that said, guys,
we do have a super chat about technical analysis from Luke Zaldana. He said, is there any significance to the 20 EMA? Is there any significance that the 20 EMA is crossing the 50 and about to cross the 100 on the 3-hour and the 2-hour time frame on Bitcoin chart?
So I personally don't use the 2-hour and the 3-hour time frame, just because not many people use it. The thing you want to keep in mind with technical analysis is the point of it is trying to do technical analysis. You're trying to figure out what everybody else is thinking so that you can make trades similarly, or make trades at least with their thought processes in mind, which is difficult. you don't want to make that harder on yourself by using time frames that people aren't using. For example, I never use the 45-minute chart because no one's looking at the 45-minute chart. If there's some reason that you want to just see the price, the 2 and the 3 hour chart, go for it. But as far as crosses and everything, I typically only pay attention to the 1 hour, 4 hourly, and daily chart. And then if I want to go up, I'll look at the weekly or the monthly because people look at that. If I'm going down, I'll look at the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, something like that. But in general, I don't find a lot of people using the 20 and the 2 hour and the 3 hour. So I will more than likely steer clear of it. Oscar asked, Jeb, going on around the blockchain today? I am. I will be on ATB today, I think.
Also, just for what it's worth, I want to, this was a while ago, but there's someone in chat named Jermaine Escobar. So this is something that we need to keep our eye on because, Jermaine or German, I don't know how his name is pronounced exactly, but he says, I am from El Salvador. And the people who said no to Bitcoin was only like 10 people. And 5 of them were like reporters.
That's what I was worried about. Yeah.
So this, again, we don't want to just go off of one comment, but this is something, again, that was my fear when I read the story. Because this morning I read the story and I was like, I wonder how much of this is true. Like, are they exaggerating the numbers? Where do they get these numbers from? Yep. That is something we see news stations do all the time, is just throw out these ridiculous numbers that we're not exactly sure where they even got them from. So,
yeah. And I have it right over here and I'll say this and then we're going to wrap it out. But I looked into it a little bit while we were talking earlier. The study surveyed 1,200 people. Now, guys, look, I understand that surveys are already very unreliable. We found out just how reliable polls are in U.S. elections, for example. It's very difficult to get a gauge on what the entire nation believes if you're only polling 1,200 people. So that's why I was very respectful when we were reading the article, but also we were a little skeptical. We're like, okay, I want to be very respectful for any El Salvadorans who don't think that this is the right way to go because it's their nation, not mine. That being said, I don't necessarily know if I believe this data. We want to be as respectful as we can to the El Salvadoran people, but we would also ideally like to actually know what they think. So anyone in chat who is from El Salvador, let us know. We would love to have some more on the ground information. Tim, any final thoughts before we wrap it out?
My final thoughts is I know we only have 2 minutes left, and I know we are, 174, now 72 likes away from 1,000. Here's the thing, though. I love our audience. I love our fans. I think that I think a lot of you did the best you could to get us to 1,000 likes.
It's true.
Smay, let's go ahead and let's have another turtle sighting and a turtle fact, and we will wrap out the stream.
Turtle time.
But while he's doing that, make sure you guys smash the likes. Get us to 1,000.
Yes,
we'll do afterpay. We'll do afterpay.
Yes.
We have to have 1,000 likes. So we'll give you the product first.
So I'm not going to get the turtle out again just because it's going to stress him out a little bit too much. So I don't want to do that.
Enough.
But I'm going to give you guys one of the biggest turtle facts that you'll ever know. And it's this. That turtles and tortoises as a whole, and terrapins by extension, and I'll tell you guys what a terrapin is in a second. But turtles and tortoises as a family group, a genus, is one of the most endangered animals in the entire world. Which means if there weren't organizations like the Turtle Survival Alliance and all these other turtle conservation groups, we wouldn't have turtles in the next 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So turtles are really down bad, and especially overseas. And that's actually why the United States, because of the fact that we're a little bit more conscious about how we treat our wildlife in the United States, the United States is actually home to the most unique turtle species in the world, right? So if you've ever heard of painted turtles, all the turtles you see in ponds are actually a very diverse group of bunch of different species of turtles. And overseas they don't actually have that many diverse species of turtles. So it's very important that whenever you can support turtle conservation, because a lot of turtles, and by extension tortoises, serve a huge role in our environment. That especially in Florida, we have the gopher tortoise, which is,
I love gopher tortoises.
Gopher tortoises is what is called a keystone species, which means its survival, which means like hundreds of other animals are dependent on that animal's survival and existence, right? Gopher tortoises are expert burrow diggers. They dig these large burrows that are very strong and very dense, and usually put in very ideal areas for other animals to go and nest in during storms and so on. And a lot of animals called those abandoned burrows home. So if you remove gopher tortoises, which gopher tortoises are extremely endangered in the state of Florida, once you move them out, several other animals go extinct. And that's why anything you guys can do to support turtle and tortoise conservation, it plays a huge role in the ecosystem as a whole, and by extension, it improves your life because once you knock down those dominoes, and this is why conservation is so important, once you knock down those dominoes, it eventually leads to our quality of life. Meaning, if this animal goes extinct, that means that animal goes extinct, that animal goes extinct, and then next thing you know, we don't have crops, we don't have a lot of the essential things, clean water, that we rely on as a human race. So that's why it's not just, oh, I don't care about that animal. A lot of animals have very distinct and integral roles that keep us thriving as a society. So it's important to do your part and support conservation. Thank you.
Save the turtles, man.
We'll have to, let us know in chat if you guys would love to have a Smay show where he discusses not only the news in crypto,
Plus
but also
Smay
turtles
show
and
in
animals. I saw someone say in chat a while ago, I think it was Sam Hayes who said it. He said CT2A is great, but I need some STT2A.
I saw that.
Smay's turtle technical analysis.
You need to do some technical analysis on their the shell, on the carapace and the plastron. I remember my terms. Guys, I actually used to have a ton of burrows for gopher tortoises back in my backyard. You guys might not know this. I grew up on 7 acres, and we had a ton of them. Found my neighbor living in one of them one time. Anyway, guys, that's all we got for today. If you did enjoy today's stream, make sure to smash that like button. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
I want to say one more thing. Sorry. Guys, don't feel bad about using plastic straws, by the way. That is a myth. It was made by one social media video. So that actually, certain overuse of plastics is bad, but plastic straws aren't the enemy against turtles. It's really a lot of other factors. So don't feel bad about using plastic straws. That's just a myth from social media.
The tortoises that people throw in the water, they could use the plastic straws as like snorkels,
Was the study about that done by the same people who did the study down in El Salvador?
Probably.
Maybe it's all connected.
Probably
Probably
the same people that think that that Bitcoin Cash is a real cryptocurrency.
Ooh,
anyway, we're throwing all kinds of shade here, guys. That's all we got for today's video. Like I said, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and also on TikTok at CryptoJebOfficial. Make sure to sign up for the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy with the link in the description box down below, and also make sure to sign up for our newsletter and make sure to follow us on Reddit. We are doing meme review tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss it.
There's been some good ones.
There's been some good ones.
Ooh,
I have been some good ones. You guys are kicking it up.
I love the memes, and I actually have one last thing to say. I'm sorry, guys.
Gosh.
One last thing.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think I kind of left it vague of saying go support your conservation people. All right, it doesn't mean you have to go throw money at places. The best way and the most simple way that you can actually support conservation efforts is to just go to your local zoo. Go to your local zoo, have a good time. That is indirectly funding conservation. So
I want to see turtle memes on this page when we come on here tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
We need to see Smayatang turtle. Someone said in chat, wait, Smayatangs have turtles? And yes, it's true.
Yes.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
It's a symbiotic relationship. They keep each other healthy. Anyway, that's actually it for today's video. Are we done?
We're done. No
okay,
more.
Good. Guys, that's all we got for today's video. Before we go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.